Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to Rapid City Real Estate News. If you don't know me, I'm Christian Morrison. I'm a local realtor here in the Rapid City Black Hills area, and I do these videos once a week and a bunch of other video content just to help people that are looking in the area. Real estate's a hot topic. Everybody talks about real estate, so this kind of helps ease some of that, give you something to talk about whether around your friends or whatever you want to use it for. So hopefully it's useful for you. Now, typically I'm gonna do something a little different this week. Typically I go into the numbers, talk a little bit about my opinion on what's happening in the market, things like that. I'll hit on that a little bit, and all the numbers will be below in the description of this video, no matter where you're watching it. But today I'm going to get into something I've been thinking about and something that I've been doing with clients and something that's maybe useful for you. And I'm going to talk about interest rates right now. So interest rates have jumped up extremely high. In the last couple weeks, they've gone from around 5.5% to today they're at 6.7%, so almost 7% interest rates. Now, that has definitely made the market slow down quite a bit, especially in really big metropolitan areas. It's been hit the worst, it seems like. Here in Rapid City, we've had a slowdown for sure. Not as big as some other areas, but definitely a slowdown as well. I personally don't look at this as a bad thing. I look at it as a good thing, especially if you're out there trying to buy something that's going to give you some options. Stuff is still selling. I mean, I showed a house yesterday that is in the luxury price point, so above $700,000, and there was only one showing available for the day. It was booked all through the day, so stuff is still busy. People are still out there shopping. Stuff is still going under contract, but it's definitely slowing it down. So, and there's going to be stuff that sits out for a little bit longer, I think, because people are scared of that interest rate. So if you're one of those people out there, and one of two things: one, you're selling a house, but you're scared because interest rates are so high that people aren't going to want to buy it. This is going to be useful for you. Or if you're a buyer going out there wanting to buy something, but interest rates are too expensive, so it's inhibiting your ability to buy something in the price point that you like, this is for you as well. So we're going to talk about buying down interest rates. Some of you have heard of this, some of you haven't, so I'm going to explain it like you have never heard of it. Buying down interest rate, or buying points or discount points, whatever they call it, everybody calls it kind of different things, in a nutshell is you're going to prepay for interest up front. So if your interest rate is whatever percentage, you can pay a certain amount of money at closing to get your interest rate to buy down and to get lower, right? So let's just say it's at 7% right now. Typically, when you pay one discount point, it's going to equal 0.25% interest. And the way the amount is decided on how much it costs per discount point, so per quarter percent interest, is depending on how much your loan amount is. So this is from my knowledge and stuff I've read and done in the past. I believe I'm correct on this, but don't 100% quote me on this. I could be off by some numbers here, but I'm pretty close for sure. If you're buying a $500,000 house and you're planning on putting $100,000 down, your loan amount is going to be $400,000. So that is the amount you're going to pay based off of. So you're going to pay 1% of your loan amount. So whatever your loan amount is, 1% of that. So in this case that we're talking about, it's $400,000. So for every quarter percent, you're going to pay $4,000. So now a couple things here. A couple ways to go about this. If you have the cash and you can do it yourself, amazing. You can buy that down. Every full percent would be 4 discount points. So in this scenario, you're looking at, if you want to pay down a full percent, you're looking at, what is that, 16 grand, right? 16 grand per percent you want to buy down. And now you can do the math on how much it's going to save you over time. But a lot of scenarios, it is definitely worth it to buy down its interest rate, 2%. And, that's a lot of money if you don't have that cash to spend on it. But if you do, I think it's definitely worth it for the long run. Now, another way to do this, to buy down the interest rate, is you can get the seller, or if you are the seller, you can offer this a credit toward buying down your interest rate. Okay, so this has happened a lot here in the market. I've done it with a seller that I had, we offered it, and I've done it with buyers I have, we asked for it. So especially if you see something that's been sitting on the market for a while, if you're a buyer, and you think there's a chance that you can get this, you can make an offer and you can put that in the offer that you want that done. Now, I believe that the seller can only contribute up to 6% of the purchase price in credits to the buyer. I believe that's correct, which is quite a bit of money, honestly. So if you're looking at a $500,000 house, 6% of that is a huge number. So, but with that being said, you could ask them potentially to buy around 1% of your interest rate, right? So if we're at 6.7% right now, you could ask them for the amount of credit you need, whatever your loan amount is. In this scenario, it'd be 16 grand for the $400,000 loan amount. I want 16 grand in credits, seller credits from you on my offer to buy down my interest rate by 1%. 1% may not sound like a lot, but it's a ton on a payment like that. So let's do the math on that really quick, actually, instead of just saying it's a ton. If you take that loan amount normally, I'm going to pull it up on my calculator here. If you take that loan amount of $400,000 with a 6.7% interest rate, your loan payment with taxes and insurance estimated here is $3,248 a month at that 6.7, so $3,248. If you change it to 5.7, your payment goes down to $2,989. So massive difference there. As you can see, you're looking at $300 a month or so. Could be a little more, could be a little less, but around $300 a month less on a payment by that one discount point. So now you're going to have to do the math on how long you think you'll stay in the house, if that'll be worth it for you or not. But if you're getting it from the seller in this scenario, it's definitely worth it for you. And it saves you $300 a month. That's a huge difference on a payment. And you can do this calculators. And actually, people ask me this all the time, what to use as a mortgage calculator. Shockingly, I find the easiest to use and good numbers, not 100% accurate, but very close. If you just type in mortgage calculator on Google and use Google's calculator, just make sure you click on include taxes and fees. Use their calculator, it's really accurate. The only thing I don't find accurate in there is their interest rates are random. I don't know how they choose them or how they calculate what those are, but the interest rates are never correct on there. They're either way too high or way too low. So find the correct interest rate, but other than that, it's a really good calculator. Now, as the seller, from the seller's perspective, give you a quick story. I had a client that the house, we put it on the market right at the height of the last mortgage interest rate hike, which made our house sit there for a while. We didn't know it was coming. So what we did is we offered a $5,000 credit. This is a lower price point house. We offered a $5,000 credit to buyers to buy down their interest rate or whatever they want to use it for. You could use it for something else if you wanted to. But as soon as we offered that and educated the buyers on it, you can't just put it out there because people don't understand it. But as long as you educate the buyers on it and explain how much it could help them save money, like in this scenario, I think it paid down 0.5% interest for them, maybe a little more than 0.5% interest. And it changed them from not being able to buy the house to being able to, this one buyer in particular, and that's all you need is one buyer for your house. So what they thought was out of their price range because of interest rates ended up being the house they got to buy, and it was a better house than they thought they could get, and they were super pumped about it. The sellers were pumped because they got to sell the house, and rather than drop the price by 20 grand or 10 or 20 grand, just offer the $5,000 credit, costs you less as a seller, and still got the buyer in the house, and everybody was a win-win for everybody. So as a seller, you can think about that, and that's one strategy to get the house sold right now. If it's something that's been sitting there a while, or if you're thinking about putting on the house, I would almost consider, depending on the price point, where it is, if you think it'll sell right away. There's a lot of factors that go into play. If it's still the right house in the right neighborhood, right price points, it's still going to sell right away. You probably don't need to do that. But a lot of other houses may need to do something like this to help it move right now. So just some ideas for you guys on that. The market, from what I've seen, like I said, is definitely got hit a little bit from this. It's not insane. I mean, stuff is still selling. I'm still showing properties. So stuff is still selling out there and stuff's still going under contract. But it's definitely hit. No doubt about it. So we will see where this takes us. See if it keeps going up or not. But in my opinion right now, it's probably still a good time to sell. I really think it is. I think it's still great, especially if you want to be creative, offer some discount points or whatever, and make that buyer more excited for your house in particular. And then if you're out there buying, I would definitely use this strategy to help you out. So last thing for you guys, this coming up Thursday, 2 days from now, Thursday night, I'm doing a home selling webinar. If you're interested in selling your house right now, you want to go through the strategies of doing it with or without an agent. If you want to go without an agent route, or if you want to go with an agent, but you want to know exactly the steps necessary to sell your house. I'm hosting a webinar this Thursday at 6:30 p.m. I'll put the link to it in the description. I got a few spots left. I only let 15 people into these, so I got a few spots left if you're interested in that. If it's already full, it won't let you sign up, so you'll know then. But yeah, last little plug there. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I'll see you next week. Peace.